Joining me now is Mark Devlin. He's founder of The Majority, which is a voice for Scotland's anti-nationalist majority. Good morning to you.
Hi, David. How are you today?
Very well, thank you very much. I imagine your eyes rolled when Nicola Sturgeon popped up again.
Oh, it's not just eye-rolling. It's much more than that. I mean, it's just ongoing, what we call the never-endum. It's just constant talk about independence referendum that isn't going to happen, that is just taking up the whole media space in Scotland, and no one can talk about anything else. It's a big distraction, really, from the actual real problems that we have here. Many of them, in fact, most of them caused by Nicola Sturgeon's government itself.
I mean, in many ways, you are right. She seems to forget that she is First Minister of a country that faces very serious problems. Certainly the cost of living. We know the drug problem in Scotland. We know about the poverty in Scotland. And I don't see her addressing any of these massive issues. She just talks about independence.
Yeah, it's just as I said, it's a big distraction. I mean, she wants to try and present her plan as being some kind of lifeboat that Scots can get into to escape from UK economic crisis. But in fact, all she's really offering is like a wheelie bin that's out in the middle of the ocean, that's on fire and surrounded by sharks. Normal Scots just are not really for this thing at all. I mean, everything that she's saying here, it's currency, EU, a hard border. She is just got no answers in any of these things at all, and it's just a huge distraction from the real issues that we have.
So the jaw drop moment for me was when she said they would keep the pound, and obviously that means you can't then be in the EU, which is another of her pet projects. But also she then goes on, and this is the bit that I really found very tricky. She said border arrangements with the rest of the United Kingdom would be needed to ensure continued trade in goods and services across the UK. That would be suicidal for Scotland.
No, it's absolute nonsense. It really is crazy. Imagine drawing a border across the mainland of the UK. It's insane. Imagine those border communities being broken up by this crazy idea. Imagine trying to travel. I mean, it's only an hour from here, from Glasgow to Carlisle. Every time we'd have to travel there, we would, and then to the rest of England, we'd have to get our passports out, or we'd have to customs checks. It's an absolute non-starter. And we said this all along, and this is one of the reasons that the Brexit basically killed Scottish independence, because it meant that they couldn't, if the SNP were trying to get independence in Europe, it meant there had to be a hard border with the rest of the UK, and nobody wants a hard border. It's just a non-starter.
That's so interesting. I've never heard anyone say that about Brexit. The fact is, obviously, we came out of the EU and we have a different currency. I've never heard that argument before, and it's a really good one. Just in terms,
well, that's why she fought it so hard, right?
Yeah, I hadn't really twigged that.
Right. Well, that's part of it, right? That's the thing. So, I mean, I think she's actually proposing that if she gets independence, or actually what we say is if she breaks up the UK, she's actually proposing that they keep the pound for a while and then move to a Scottish currency that nobody wants, and then move to the euro. I mean, how can anyone, any business or any person listening to that think that's stability? You know, if the lesson of these past few weeks has been that we need stability and financial stability in our countries, and she's just proposing, oh yeah, we'll just willy-nilly, we'll just use whatever currency that comes to hand. It's just all sound bites to her followers, so that they can think, okay, there's some action happening here, but the rest of us know there is no action. Actually, there's nothing. All of her everything she said is at an indeterminate time. There's no real plan. There's no costing. There's nothing going on in it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to know who is the central bank. She then kind of makes up policy saying that deposits of up to 85,000 will be guaranteed. Guaranteed by who? There is no central bank.
Yes. There's no central bank. There's no way basically they're saying they'd have to borrow to get to put those reserves in. Well, who's going to lend to them at any decent rate, especially if they know there's going to be all these currency changes and more going on? It's just... Basically it's insanity, but it works for her followers, because her followers want to know always that it's progressing somehow, right? But the case is becoming thinner and thinner as we go along, and there's less and less to it. There's less and less meat to it, because last time they put out a plan, everyone complained, oh, there's a plan for austerity, which of course is actually the truth. That's what happened. Is Scotland runs a 12 billion a year deficit, not including including any of the COVID money, and that has to be made up by either cuts in spending or cuts in spending or raised taxes, and they can't raise taxes, so it's going to be cuts in spending. So, but this time they just said, well, we're not even going to put the numbers in.
Yeah. So. Mark, thank you very much indeed. Always good to talk to you. Mark Devlin there, founder of The Majority, a voice for Scotland's anti-nationalist majority.